Alida, take us back. Where did life start out for you?
Okay, well, life started out obviously in Australia, but in Sydney with two sisters. And I had a very quirky grandma who was into cooking, obsessed with cooking. And, we would go to her house, excited for the roast and dessert and everything. So, that kind of old school meals really sort of already found a place in my heart from a young age. And also she had a lot of antiques around the house, and she used to put on Shirley Temple movies and old school movies. And there was just something so infectious about her, and everyone loved her. And unfortunately, she did pass away many years later. But in the meantime, I went off and did nursing. So I nursed for 15 years in total. But I was always it's a very stressful job, and I was always looking for a creative pursuit, something I could devote my life to.
Hmm.
And yeah, I didn't know what it was. And then after my grandma passed away, I just had this idea of like creating a cookbook. And
Okay. That's exciting.
yeah.
Can you take us back to some of the most memorable things that your grandmother used to cook when you were young growing up?
Oh, yeah. So obviously, like everyone loves the good old Lamingtons, but her sponge cake, and it wasn't just us. She would tell us all about how amazing her sponge cakes were. Like, but they were renowned everywhere you went. Like her sponges, her trifle, all those
Oh yes,
classics.
trifle.
The pavs, the roast meals. So she did just a traditional roast, but she made her own gravy. And she had these jam drops, these little kind of not pastry but like cakey things with jam in the middle. And there's too many. She made her own marshmallows, like everything made from scratch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
So
that's 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 pretty memorable. So what was her background? Where was she from originally?
well, she is Australian, so way back, maybe I think two generations before, she's Jewish, and she's also South African. I'm not sure exactly where, but a black South African. So you wouldn't sort of expect that. You could see it a little bit. I didn't know till I was much older about this background, but I mean, she was born and raised in Australia, and so she likes all the British classics,
Mm.
I would say, obsessed with the royal family, like a lot of people are from that generation.
Okay.
All that Diana, anything Diana, she's just had pictures and cutouts and all through the
Right.
house. Um, Anything like that, old movies, she'd know all the songs, she'd do all the dances. I was brought up on all that sort of thing. And yeah, it was sort of like a magic land when I go to grandma's house, because she had, she made porcelain dolls from scratch, and she had bead collection. So we would be making necklaces, and we had toy box. It was just magical, really.
And
Um,
were you involved in the cooking process with her? Did she get you involved, or was that her domain?
I think it was more to her
Yeah.
domain. Occasion she gave us her recipes written down with her handwriting, but so hard to follow. But she did pass them on. That's about as far as it went.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, well, that is special. And so,
yeah.
what was like your favorite? Like, is there one type of thing that really stands out that you've continued to cook?
That I've continued to cook.
Yeah.
Well, I actually grew up Seven-day Adventist. So my mum was Seven-day Adventist. So was my grandma, the one that I was just talking about. And she
Mm.
used to make. They often vegetarian, so they make, like, it's a sanitarian product. It's like a nut. I don't even know what it's actually, nuttolene or something, and you mix it up with breadcrumbs, and it's like these patty things. And it sounds strange to most people, but that's probably something that I still cook all the time. Just big nostalgia whenever I see them. Don't even know what I'd call them, just nut patties.
Okay. How do you make
Yeah.
them? Show it, teach it, tell us, Tell us. Yeah. How do you make them?
Well, you could kind of mix it up with a couple of eggs. You put a can of this nuttolene that you can get in Coles usually, and you mix it up. You get like it's so simple. That's the thing. You get like a dried French onion soup mix. Pour that in for the flavor. Often I'll saute up onion and garlic and throw it through, and you just mix it up really. And then you get breadcrumbs, put it in breadcrumbs, and then fry them up. It's so simple. And sometimes I mix it up instead of the French onion soup mix. I might put, make more of a more like a Spanishy kind of version with paprikas and other things like that. So I kind of trial and error over the years, but I always come back to my grandma's like classic recipe. Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Well,
Yeah.
look, yeah, sold. We're happy to come around
Yeah.
anytime.
Yeah.
Just to
Her
start.
roasts are pretty good too if you're
Oh.
not into vegetarian food. Her roast is
It's pretty good as well. Okay, yeah. So
Amazing.
everybody who's writing down that recipe right now of how to make it, yeah.
Great. So going up through that time, did you have siblings around you, and or was it just you and the?
Yeah, two sisters, one older one younger one. Yeah, so they're like me. They reminisce on grandma's cooking.
And what types of activities did you get up to, like after school and those types of things growing up together as a family?
I think it's so nice. Like now looking back, I feel so blessed because a lot of kids are in apartments and they're, on their tablets and phones and watching TV. But I was probably, because I'm a 1980s baby. I mean, I still remember running the streets until the lights went out, the lights went on, the lights in the evening went on. So, we were outside on our roller skates, riding our little bikes around. We had a property behind us with 5 acres and they had horses and pigs and everything. And we were down there catching tadpoles and, chasing piglets and, there's always a puppy down the street a dog down the street having puppies. So, going to visit the new puppies a few doors down or whatever. We had one of those kind of scrappy childhoods and it was so delightful. Like I said, I don't know how many kids can experience that these days. So yeah, it was nice. Back to basics. It was out Western Sydney, so out past maybe people won't know this area, but it was outside of Sydney City, a good couple of hours from the CBD. So
out towards Windsor, that area.
Out past there, where people had properties and different things like that. So it was very simple kind of childhood, nothing flashy. We went to caravan parks, stayed in cabins or, tents. Yeah, it was nice. It was simple.
Yes, that area is a bit different now from how you've grown up for sure, by the sounds of
it. Yeah, not too developed yet, but it's getting there, definitely.
Mm. And how was schooling for you? Was it something that you loved and embraced or a challenge? Talk us through those years.
Oh, okay, school years. I did not embrace school one bit. I was a good kid, like I was never a troublemaker or anything like that. However, when I got to high school, I skipped more classes than I went to, especially English, believe it or not. So it's hilarious that I'm writing books now, but I hated school. I used to get the syllabus and I would teach myself off the syllabus. And finally, I think my mum got to the point where she went, she is passing, she's doing well, so whatever's working for her, and she kind of just let me do my thing. But it was touch and go where they said, if you don't up your attendance, you're not going to get your high school certificate. So I didn't go to school. I didn't learn that way. I do think it was, like I said, it was a different time and people didn't diagnose things like dyslexia, or learning difficulties. And looking back, probably I would have been diagnosed with dyslexia. And I think that's why I struggled with mainstream education and how it's delivered. So, yeah, I didn't love school, but I did all right, enough to do a nursing degree. I got into nursing and finished that. So.
Thank you for watching this short clip of Life Bursts. You can like, subscribe or follow for more or head to rawcut.com.au.